This is what happens when you get too close to something you don't understand. And they're not the only ones. In different places, people keep making the same mistake. And by the time they realize what it is, they're already too close to get away. Jungle river figure.
Yeah, good sign for the net.
In a jungle river, 3 men are moving in a canoe when something starts shifting beneath the water.
Yeah, good sign for the net.
2 of them notice it first. They slow down, trying to see what's under the surface.
Yeah, good sign.
Without warning, a humanoid figure rises from the water and hits the cameraman, flipping the canoe and throwing them in.
Yeah, good sign for the net.
The camera keeps recording underwater, showing the figure moving below them, then surfacing again near the canoe, staying close, as if it hasn't left. Riverbank strike. On the edge of a river, 2 young men are watching a spot along the bank where a snake is hiding. One of them steps into the water and starts hitting the opening with a stick, trying to force it out. It comes out fast, lunges forward, and bites him just below the head, knocking him back into the river. The other man moves in, then stops, backs away to the shore, arms raised, watching it from a distance as it stays in place. Under the canoe,
Yeah, water's like glass.
4 men are fishing from a canoe somewhere along the Amazon River when a sudden movement forms beneath them.
Like glass.
The water lifts slightly under the canoe, as if something is rising from below. Then the canoe is pushed from underneath, flipping over and throwing them into the water.
It's real quiet out here today. Yeah, water's like glass. Hey, you see that?
The camera keeps recording below the surface, showing a large shape moving past them, staying close as it disappears into the river. Limpopo River. In the Limpopo River, a man is seen swimming alone with no clear context. Then something reaches him from below and the water breaks around him. A crocodile locks onto him, and they struggle at the surface, only parts of its body visible as it holds on. And then, everything slows down until the movement stops completely and the river returns to stillness. Cave figure.
Oh God! Oh God!
In northern Canada, a group of hikers notice movement inside a cave below them.
Oh God!
From higher ground, they keep watching as something begins to come out.
It's coming out of the cave. That's massive. I can't.
A tall figure steps out of the cave and moves forward, its shape fully visible for a moment.
Oh my God! Look at that. What is that? It's coming out of the cave. That's massive. I can't even tell how far that is. It's huge. Oh man, it's moving. It's looking around.
Oh God! Oh God!
Then it turns toward them and starts running, forcing them to drop the camera and leave the area.
Oh God! No.
Inside the house. Inside a house, a couple runs into a room while something moves through the hallway behind them. The man blocks the entrance with a shelf while she keeps recording from inside. Through the gap in the doorway, a figure appears and reaches inside, extending its arm toward them. He moves away and she follows, but the figure stays there, still reaching through the opening. Riverbank strike, Colombia. In a river in Colombia, a group of friends is standing near the bank, moving between the water and the edge. One of them steps closer to the side, just as something shifts from the vegetation behind him. A snake lunges out and bites his back, knocking him forward into the stream. The others pull away immediately, crossing to the opposite side, all of them keeping distance from where it came out. Offshore pursuit. Off the coast, a small boat is already moving at speed, with no clear lead-in to what's happening. Behind it, shapes begin to close the distance, moving just at the surface of the water. They stay alongside the boat, keeping pace, their movement consistent as the driver tries to get away.
Throttle wide, now! Hang on back there! Throttle wide, they're still coming! They're falling behind, keep it up! Don't let up!
And then, just as suddenly, they slow down and stop following, leaving the boat to continue on its own.
They're falling behind, keep it up! Don't let up!
Night in the woods.
Hey, come on now! Hey.
At night, a man walks into a wooded area, recording as he moves deeper between the trees. Ahead of him, a figure is standing still, head lowered, not reacting to his presence.
Hey, come on now! Hey.
Then it shifts, bending backward, and starts moving toward him on all fours.
Hey, come on now! Hey.
He turns and runs, however. The recording cuts before anything else can be seen. Amazon sighting. On the Amazon River, two men in a boat begin recording something moving ahead of them in the water. At first, only parts of it can be seen, rising and sinking as it moves toward the shore. A long shape follows behind it, while another section breaks the surface briefly before going under again.
¿Qué fue eso? ¡Ay!
Then it slows down and disappears beneath the water, leaving no clear trace of what they were looking at. Inside the tent. Inside a tent at night, a man starts recording after hearing movement just outside. He stays low, pointing the camera toward the entrance where something is already close. A large jaguar moves in and lunges toward him, forcing him to get out immediately. He makes it outside, but the animal remains inside the tent, still facing the same direction. Forest figure.
Oh, Dios mío.
At night, a teenager walks through a wooded area, recording as he moves deeper in.
¿Qué es eso?
Ahead of him, something stands between the trees, barely moving as the light reaches it.
Moviendo. Tengo que...
It begins to move forward, slowly, keeping its shape as it steps out from the shadows.
Oh, Dios mío. ¿Qué es eso? Se está moviendo. Tengo que quedarme callado.
He stays quiet and keeps recording, not getting any closer, and not turning away either.
Tengo que quedarme callado.
Underwater form. Off the Atlantic coast, a diver starts recording a shape resting on the seafloor. At first, it looks still, almost like part of the bottom, with no clear outline. Then it shifts, changing form as it moves, revealing a structure that wasn't clear before. The recording ends there, with the shape no longer still, and no clear view of what it becomes. Thermal pursuit. In a forest at night, a thermal drone captures two figures moving quickly between the trees. Behind them, another shape appears, closing the distance as it follows their path. It moves in long strides, keeping pace as the two figures continue running. All three leave the frame, and the recording holds on the empty space where they were last seen. The drone and the bear. A drone flies low through a snow-covered forest in daylight. Ahead, a man runs between the trees, glancing back as he moves. Behind him, a bear follows along the same path, closing the gap with steady strides. The drone keeps moving and both disappear from view, leaving the outcome unknown. The spiked suit. In the savannah, a man stands surrounded by lions, wearing a suit covered in spikes. As they approach, he doesn't move. He lets them get closer. They lunge and bite, but the spikes force them back before they can hold on. He remains standing as the animals hesitate, unable to land a full attack. The road sign. At night, on a rural road, a couple records something perched on a road sign.
Santo Dios.
The figure stays still, its shape unclear against the darkness.
No. ¿Qué es eso?
¡Apaga la luz!
Then it shifts, spreading what appear to be wings before lifting off.
No. ¿Qué es eso?
¡Apaga la luz!
Santo Dios.
The camera tries to follow, but it disappears into the night almost instantly. The forest figure. On a forest trail, a lone hiker notices a figure standing further up the path. At first, it looks like a person, completely still, facing in his direction. But as he gets closer, the proportions don't match.
Just standing there.
The shape of the head becomes clearer, and something about it feels off.
Just standing there. That's not a goat. Look at its face.
Then it suddenly moves toward him for a moment, before turning and disappearing back into the trees. The water grab.
Oh my God! Let go! Get on me!
Near the edge of a muddy river, a man approaches the water, unaware of what's just beneath the surface.
No! Get up! Let go!
Without warning, something reaches up and grabs his leg, pulling him off balance.
Oh my God! Let go! Get on me! No! Get up! Let go of me! Get on my leg! Let go! Oh my God!
He struggles to break free as the shape tightens its grip from below. The water churns around him, and whatever is there keeps pulling from beneath the surface.
Let go! Oh my God!
The night encounter. During a night expedition, a man scans the water with a night vision camera, focusing on movement between the branches. At first, nothing is clear, just shapes blending into the surroundings. Then, a face appears, partially hidden, watching from just above the water. It suddenly lunges forward, and the camera drops as the recording cuts out. The caged figure. At night, a group gathers around a metal cage after something unusual is captured. Inside, a figure moves restlessly, gripping the bars as people watch from outside. Its features appear unfamiliar, making it hard to clearly identify what they're looking at.
Con razón se robaba la comida de la granja. ¿Viste su cara? Está bien raro. Ten cuidado, no te acerques tanto.
The recording holds on it as it stays inside the cage, with no explanation for what it is. The catch. Out at sea, fishermen pull something unusual onto the deck of their boat. At first, it's hard to tell what it is as it shifts and presses against the wood. The body moves heavily, struggling as the crew tries to keep control.
Licin banget bro, pegang lagi cepat. Ikat. Masukin ke bawah perutnya. Ya Tuhan, kuat banget dia. Tahan dulu. 1, 2.
It keeps moving across the deck, with no clear idea of what they've brought up. The net. At the edge of a river, something gets caught in a fishing net and starts thrashing violently. At first, it looks like a large fish struggling to break free. But as it twists, parts of its body move in a way that doesn't seem typical. It keeps fighting against the net while those nearby hold back, unsure of what they're looking at. The figure behind.
¿Qué onda, raza? Estamos aquí en medio de...
While recording themselves walking through a forest, two friends focus only on the camera.
¿Qué onda, raza? Estamos aquí en medio del monte.
Behind them, between the trees, something stands still, just within the frame.
Se me congelan las orejas.
It doesn't move or make a sound as they continue walking.
Traes gorro, carnal.
Pues sí, pero no ayuda.
Mira nomás, puro paisaje chido, todo callado, nada más nosotros y los búhos.
Y el frío.
Jálate, que salgan a toma, espérate. Peace.
They only notice it later, after watching the recording again.
Mira nomás, puro paisaje chido, todo callado, nada más nosotros y los...
The roadside figure.
Por favor, alguien que pase.
Late at night, a man stops on a quiet road and begins recording after noticing someone standing behind his car.
¿Aló? ¿Alguien?
At first, the figure doesn't move, just standing there as he speaks to the camera.
Ay Dios, ay Dios, la sangre de Jesús.
But as he keeps filming, the distance between them slowly starts to close.
¿Alguien? Ay Dios, ay Dios, la sangre de Jesús tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder.
He backs away, still recording, while the figure continues moving closer in silence.
La sangre de Cristo tiene poder.